Good morning, students. Here is your English teacher, Mrs. Shweta Mittal. I welcome you all in your English class of class 10. I hope that you are fit and fine at home and are connected with your studies. Today, we shall start reading the first chapter of your book, First Flight, A Letter to God, written by G.L. Fintes. Before starting the explanation, I would like to tell you that listen the chapter carefully and after finishing it, just read it at once yourself from your NCERT book so that you can understand the story properly. So let us start. About the author, G. L. Fuentes was born on Lanzarote in Canary Island. As a teenager, he worked on cargo ships out of the Canary Islands and he migrated permanently to Cuba when he was of 22-year old. He died from cancer in Kohimar in 2002 at the age of 104. In this story, A Letter to God, the author has tried to depict the invincible faith in God of a simple poor farmer. It is rightly said that faith can move mountains. But what should we put our faith in? Lencho had extreme faith in God but lacked faith in humanity. So, what happened next? Let us see. Lencho was a poor but hard-working farmer. His house was on the top of a hill, and that was the only house in the beautiful valley. He hoped for a good crop, but his fields needed rain or at least a shower. He waited for the rain, and it did come. One day it started drizzling. Drizzling, very light rain and the showering of rain. In the beginning, Lencho felt that the falling raindrops as new silver coins falling from the sky. He considered the 10-cent coins to the big drops, and to the small drops he considered the 5 cents. But gradually the rain transformed into a hailstorm. The hailstorm fell for an hour. It destroyed his crops completely. Lencho's soul was filled with sadness. He stood in the midst of his field and said to his sons, "A plague of locusts would have left more than this. The hail has left nothing." A plague of locusts means the group of insects which fly over the crops and destroy it. Lencho said that even the plague of locusts, the group of insects, did not harm the crops so much that the hailstorm did. But he was a hopeful person. He had firm faith in God. Lencho knew how to read and write. The following Sunday, he wrote a letter to God mentioning his destroyed crop and asked him for money so that he could sow his field again. Then he put the letter in an envelope, addressed it to God, and went to the post office. He affixed a stamp on it and dropped it in the mailbox. The postmaster, who took the letter out of the mailbox, saw the letter and showed it to the postmaster. Everyone in the post office had a hearty laugh, but immediately the postmaster realized the man's unshakable faith in God. He decided to help the man. He discussed with his colleagues, and all of them decided to part with some money from their salary for an act of charity. They collected more than half of the money Lencho had demanded and put it in an envelope and addressed it to Lencho. This letter contained a single word in the form of a signature, God. The next Sunday, Lencho went to the post office earlier than the usual time. The postmaster handed him the letter. Lencho was not so surprised on receiving a letter from God. He had unshakable faith that God would reply in the form of money, and he did receive it. He opened the envelope and became angry and counted the money. There were only 70 pesos in the envelope. Pesos and is a Latin American currency. Whereas he had asked for 100 pesos, he knew God could not have made a mistake. Immediately he wrote another letter to God, put it in the mailbox, and went out. The postmaster took out the letter from the mailbox and opened it. Lencho had requested God to send the rest of the money, that is 30 pesos, as he had received only 70 pesos. Lencho had a feeling that the people at the post office had cheated him and taking out the money from God's envelope. So he wrote that God should not send money through the mail, as according to him the post office employees were the bunch of crooks. The bunch of crooks are the person who cheated another person for their self-interest. So thus we see that Lencho had firm faith in God but lacked faith in humanity. The postmaster and his employees, who had no relationship with Lencho, they helped Lencho as a pure act of humanity, kindness, and selflessness on their part. But Lencho can't believe that. So the story tells us the moral that we should have our faith in our humanity and should be noble and kind person toward others. So what do you learn from the story? Just read the story and think about it. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.